Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is Monday and I decided I wanted to do a video today, so I'm here. I got up this morning and just had a lazy morning, guys. Got up and I just come back from the spa, got my nails redone, guys. I said this year I was going to do more of things that I want to do for myself. And so one of the things I never really did was, I'm not really big on you know, hampering and things like that, but I felt like I deserved it. I feel like I work hard. I feel like I have done enough that I should be able to do a few little things for myself, not in excess, but a few things. So I went and got my nails redone today. So today's video ties into that, and today's topic is going to be accepting yourself. I'm actually about to go to the movies, so this is just a preview as of what's to come. And I just wanted to stop in because while I was at the salon, I won't call it a salon, at the spa doing my nails, I got a beautiful message from one of my followers on here. Hi Penny. And I actually didn't know Penny really followed me on YouTube. I know she is a follower. We follow each other on Instagram, so I'm so pleased to know that tagging my Instagram does bring people over, because I don't have as many followers on Instagram as I do here on YouTube. So that makes me happy and being blessed that, you know, that we can go back and forth. You know, I tag it in my YouTube description, and I also have my channel in my Instagram, so that helps me to connect with more people. But thank you, Penny. I got very choked up from her message that she sent me in response to my last video talking about letting go as parents. It is such a blessing for me to know that people are touched, or it helps them in some way. And I was sharing with her, and I'm not going to share with her message, but I was sharing with her that I had to learn the hard way about a lot of things. And so therefore, I feel that it's my purpose to be able to share things with people in some way that it may help them if they haven't gotten to that point or experienced certain things. Because I know some people have already experienced and they understand. So those people who cheer me on, me like, girl, I've been there, done that, you know, they understand. But for people who may have not gotten to that point, or they're going through it at some point, it kind of makes you feel a little relieved to know people are, you know, in the same space or going through similar situations, and it's a comforting feeling. So today we're going to be talking about accepting ourselves and how to do that. And yeah, I can't wait to share that with you guys. So thank you for tuning in, and if you're interested in this video, please keep watching. All right, you guys, welcome back. We're going to dive into this topic because I don't want this video to be as long as the previous one. But accepting yourself is the ability to unconditionally accept everything about you, the good and the bad. But for most of us, accepting yourself can be very, very hard. I'm going to list a few things here that can help us to be able to cultivate self-acceptance, and then we're going to talk about it. It says, let me put my eyes on y'all, I know I can't see that well. You're going to set an intention. You celebrate your strengths. Consider the people around you. Here's a big one. Forgive yourself. Shush your inner critique. We're always critiquing ourselves. Grieve the loss of unrealized dreams. Realize that acceptance is not resignation. I want to talk about a few of these because it is really hard to accept certain things about yourself. One of the things I want to think about and talk about is this, and this is a little deep. Oftentimes when we were younger in our lives, we made a lot of bad decisions, okay? Let's just look at it like that. Everybody don't always grow up and go off into life and do all of the right things that they were taught And sometimes we were taught right, but sometimes we still make other choices, because we do know sometimes people are better at learning at experience than listening to parents and mentors and people that try to help you. So therefore, a lot of times we do end up making choices. Now, a lot of women, I'm going to specifically talk about us. My channel is basically for women, so I don't usually bring in men, but we're going to talk about women. We're just going to say, hypothetically speaking, as a young person, you made a lot of bad choices when it comes to what you're trying to do with your life, the men you chose to choose in your life. And sometimes there are multiple men. We're not going to really get into that part. I don't want to really get into the whole, thing about relationships and being sexually active, but you guys get what I'm saying. And sometimes we can continue to choose the wrong man over and over and over again. Or sometimes we are so desperate for love that we continue to choose the wrong man over and over again. And sometimes we're so damaged that we'll choose wrong relationships over and over again. So we're talking about those particular situations where we made some really bad choices. And sometimes it can come with a little damage to your reputation. People will talk about you. People will say ugly things about you. People will judge you in a sense. But I'm saying this because even when you have made choices like that, you can still rise above it. You can still come back. It's just like people who make bad choices in life and become addicts to certain things. Let's say a drug addict, an alcoholic. Sometimes these things happen. And we have seen people reform their lives and go on to have an amazing life. And they oftentimes use that situation and that part of their life to try to encourage others to prevent them from going down those roads. So even if your life was off course and you made a bad decision or bad choices in your life, you still can come back from that. So accepting yourself means looking back at those things that were ugly, that you don't want to face, that you're ashamed of, and accept it. It is something that happens. You have to accept it. Go ahead and bury it. Have the funeral for it. Because the only way, you got to grieve it and then have the funeral for it. But the only way that you're going to be able to go on and to make sure your life is better is to face it. Go ahead and face it. We are our own worst critics most of the time. Sometimes we feel like people are the ones who are making us feel a certain way about ourselves. But when we get in the quiet of our rooms, guys, y'all know we can beat ourselves up and we cannot forgive ourselves for things we did. And we'll just continue to think about it over and over and over and over again. And we feel like we're the worst person that ever walked the face of the earth. We know we can do that. But guys, you have to go ahead and grieve it. And I'm not going to say grieving is going to be in a day or in 2 days or even a month. But you need to grieve it and go ahead and bury it and put it to rest. Because the only way that you're going to be able to move on is to do that. Accept yourself and all the choices that you made in life so that you can get on with the living. It is very important to do that. Now, here's one of the things that you can do, a tool that you can use, and it's called celebrating your strengths. Do you know what your strengths are? And this is what I just talked about, we are much better collectors of our shortcomings than our strengths. Many people fail to see their strengths and to cling to antique scripts that carry about their lack of worth. We're always looking at what we're not worthy of. But have you ever thought about looking at what is it about you that's your strengths? What are you good at? What have you been successful at? And most often, people who have been through the gates of hell in their lives don't realize the one thing that they fail to look at is how strong they are, because they were resilient and they continue to move forward in their lives. They don't look at that part. All they see is all of those bad things they did, how people are looking at them and how people don't love them and they think they're the worst thing ever. But you're still standing. Do you not realize that's a strength? That's something to celebrate. One of the ways that you can do this is by making a list of all the hardships you've overcome, all the goals you've accomplished, all the connections you've made, and all the lives you've touched for the better. Keep it close and review it often. That is something that I feel is really important to do, whether you do it physically writing it down or mental note of that. Think about all the lives you've touched, all the hardships that you've gone through and got through it, and you're still standing. And I always talk about myself, because being a victim of my mother's domestic violence marriage, and I've always said in my life that I would never be her. I would never allow a man to physically abuse me in that way. And let me say this clearly. I'm not judging my mother. I love my mother with everything in my heart. She was a hard-working person. And I used to look at that part of her life as a weakness, and I was disgusted by it. But my mother was strong. Even though that is not ideal, I would never want my girls to experience that. But my mother was a strong woman, because she was able to get up every morning and to go function as an RN and get through her life to make sure that her children was still living. And for that, I appreciate that in her. See, a lot of times people don't know what you're going through. They're just looking at the outside. They don't know the internal things that you're dealing with. They don't know how hard it is and how you're bleeding on this inside. They just look at things on the outside and figure, oh, that person is so weak. This person is this and that and the other. But they don't look at what it takes for you to keep moving. When a lot of people are not that strong and they do things like become drug addicts and they kill themselves and different things like that. But my mother was very strong. So I look at that and I think about myself, because going through that with her, me and my sisters were subjected to that physical violence from my stepfather. But we're here. We made it through. And so for that, I look at myself and I celebrate that strength that I was able to get through it. And I have not been a victim of domestic violence in any relationship that I've had. So I'm proud of that. Sometimes this is easier said than done, but consider the people around you. What type of people are they? What are they doing with their lives? Are they negative? Are these people that's always complaining about how hard life is? See, a lot of times the choices of people we put ourselves around can negatively impact us, because you're not being encouraged. You're not seeing people who are being successful in their lives and doing things to continue to move and motivate and, their lives. What you see around you sometimes can affect you more than anything. So it was important for me to start choosing friends and people around me that were trying to make a difference in their lives and also in the lives of other people. I like being around people who like helping others, who care about society. When you find yourself with people who are so selfish and all they think about is coming up for them, making that dollar, that's all they care about. And I have people in my life that I know that are like that. They all about the money. They all about that almighty dollar. And they wouldn't loan you $20 if they had to. I know people that way, because it's all about them. Those are not the type of people that I want around me, because I think that selfishness can influence you. And so in accepting myself, I want to be filled up with that kind of love where I care about mankind, is what I'm trying to say. And I want to be able to feel that the love I feel and the kind of person that I am is going to be humble and compassionate. So when I accept myself, I want to accept the fact that even though I made some bad choices in life, even though I may have went down some paths, I still have a heart. I still care about people. So that is very important. Make sure you choose wisely the people that surround you. Shushing that inner critique. Have you ever stood in the mirror and just started picking yourself apart, talking about how horrible certain things are about you? We all do that. We've done it at some point. Stop doing that. Stop picking apart yourself. It is just as easy, I think, to make a choice to look at the things about you that you like. If it's something as simple as your hair, if it's something as simple as the dimple in your cheek, your smile, your teeth, stop picking out the things. Oh my goodness, look at me. My cheek's too fat. Oh, look at the rolls on my neck. We are really good at seeing only the things that we don't like. look at yourself in the mirror and think about what it is about you that you actually like, even if it's only one thing. Another good way to hush that inner critique is just to tell yourself simply, I am only human. I am only human, and there's no perfect humans. And you're doing the best that you can. If you get up every day with that thought, that idea, that I'm only doing the best that I can, that you'll stop punishing yourself every time you make a mistake every day. We're so good at that. Some days I have a horrible time when I go to my job and I know I'm going to be dealing with these people at work that's always complaining, that always have something negative to say, that are judgmental. And it's hard sometimes taking that in, but I get up in the mirror now in the morning. I've been doing this for a while, and I tell myself in that mirror that no matter what's going on around me in the background, I'm going to keep my mind focused, because that day going to end and I'm going to be able to go home and relax in my oasis. So get up in the morning and tell yourself that you're only human. Stuff is going to happen. Things are going to happen around you, but you're doing the best that you can. Tell yourself that every day. Another thing that you can do is to not focus so much on unrealized dreams. You know, everybody had a dream growing up. They had something they want to do. And I don't know what the statistics is, and I may run it here, I might Google it and run it here while I'm speaking this, of how many people actually successfully do what they dream of doing when they were young. I think sometimes it changes multiple times. But get over that part. You know, because sometimes your life is going to change. You know, dreams change to different ones. And sometimes what you think you should be doing is actually not what you were put here to do. So don't focus so much on these dreams, unrealized dreams that you wanted when you were younger. You know, it's never too late to try to pursue the things that you want to do, but stop focusing on the things that you messed up in. Some people said, oh, I wish I went to college. You know, and they can't never get over the fact that they didn't go to college. Well, take a college course if that's what you really want to do. But stop living in the past of that dream that you wanted that you didn't do it. You didn't do it. Accept that. Accept it and think about what it is that you really want to do starting now. If it is to go back to college, you can start by just taking one class. Take one class and move forward from that. Let's try to focus our energy on the things that we can control. We do know there are some things that we cannot control. It's a lot going on around us, and we can't control everything. Keep your focus on what you can control, because when you try to control things that are out of your control, that is hard for you. And then you oftentimes fault yourself. That's not within your power. So stop focusing on things that's out of your control and just focus on those things that you actually have control of. That is a tool in helping you to accept yourself. And one of the last things I want to share with you ladies today is just to be kind to yourself. I think sometimes we find it hard to actually celebrate ourselves. If you got through the day and you got through it without a lot of problems, when you come home, celebrate yourself. Whatever ways it is that you like to celebrate yourself. It could be simply as sitting down and having a glass of wine. Or it could be a shopping spree for some of you. It could be a trip. I'm going to take me a weekend getaway. Whatever it is in ways that you find to celebrate yourself, it is so important that you do that. Celebrate the small accomplishments that you get. If you got through the day without saying anything, critiquing yourself, saying anything negative about yourself, that is worth celebrating. Because we got to learn what it means to really and truly accept ourselves. And it starts with forgiving our past. We have to forgive our past. You made some mistakes. You are not that person. You know who you are. People cannot tell you who you are. Even though they may know you for some of the things that you did in your past, or mistakes that you made, failures that you've had in your past, only you can know who you truly are. You and the Almighty. So you don't have to accept any labels that anybody give you. You know, oftentimes, and I'm going to end with this, I've had people try to tell me and try to bring up my past or failures they thought I had when it had to do with my marriages or raising my children. but they don't know me. They don't truly know me. They were on the outside looking in. Only I know me, and only I know the things that I was trying to do and how hard I worked at marriage and at raising children. So other people don't have the right to feel that their thoughts of me and their labels of me are who I am. I know who I am. So once you realize that, and you accept yourself and you forgive yourself for anything that you might have messed up on in the past or what you feel was bad, because everything we think about ourselves is not a bad thing. We're just our biggest critics. Once you do that, guys, then you can focus on where you want to go and what you want to be with the rest of your life. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this will help us to think about, moving forward, loving ourselves and accepting ourselves. I know a lot of times we get on here and we talk about that truly, but we really don't understand what that means. But however long it takes you, make sure you do it. Grieve those things that you messed up on, that you truly know you messed up on. Grieve it and bury it and move on. That's not who you are now. And everybody has a right to better their lives and to change and to be a better person. And make sure, and I always say this, when you know better, do better, but share it with somebody else. So thank you guys for watching today. Thank you for all the new subscribers, all the old subscribers. Make sure you subscribe if you have not. Give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. I would surely appreciate it. So thanks again, and we'll see you guys later on this week. Be safe out there in whatever things you're doing in your lives. I wish you much prosperity, peace, and love. And we'll talk later. Bye.